Imagine a private cell with internet access, luxury yoga classes, and gourmet meals, all within the confines of a prison. Sounds unbelievable, right? But for many celebrities, this is their reality behind bars. While most inmates endure overcrowded cells and harsh conditions, fame and fortune can offer a very different experience. From special privileges to cushy minimum security facilities, celebrities often find themselves living a life of luxury, even while serving time. In this video, we'll uncover how fame, money, and power shape the prison experience for the rich and famous. Get ready to discover the shocking truth about how celebrities live behind bars. When a celebrity is sentenced to prison, their time behind bars is rarely what you'd expect. While most prisoners are forced to adapt to harsh conditions, the experience for famous individuals is often shaped by something very different: their fame. This unique status turns prison life into something almost unrecognizable compared to the average inmate's experience. For starters, the moment a high-profile individual steps into a prison, their presence automatically alters the dynamic. Prison staff are trained to treat all inmates the same, but let's be honest, treating a superstar like they're just another inmate is no easy feat. In some cases, staff can become starstruck or overly accommodating, creating an awkward power imbalance. But it's not just the staff who react to the celebrity presence, other prisoners do too. Suddenly, the most infamous individuals in the world are in the same building as regular offenders. This brings with it a wave of curiosity, jealousy, and sometimes even hostility. In order to manage these tensions and protect the celebrity from potential violence or harassment, many are placed in protective custody or even isolated from the general population. Some are classified as keepaways, meaning they are deliberately segregated to avoid confrontations with other inmates. It's not just for the celebrity's comfort. This separation is a security measure. Fame can make a person a target, and prisons are no exception. In fact, many stars are given their own separate living quarters, away from the chaos and risk of general prison life. The idea behind this segregation isn't just about luxury, it's about safety. For example, when former Full House star Lori Loughlin entered prison, her fame ensured she would be separated from the general population for her own protection. It's a similar story for many high-profile figures, where their prison experience becomes a carefully managed operation to avoid any unwanted attention or danger. But let's not mistake this special treatment for a completely cushy existence. Despite their elevated status, celebrities still face the grittier side of prison life. They may not be sharing a cell with 10 other inmates, but they're not exactly living in 5-star accommodations. Many face the psychological pressure of living under constant scrutiny, with cameras and media attention often following their every move, even inside prison walls. Fame behind bars is a double-edged sword. While it comes with a buffer against some of the worst parts of prison life, it also means living in a fishbowl where every move is magnified and the pressure to maintain a public image never ends. For many celebrities, the difference between a regular prison sentence and their own time behind bars often boils down to one key factor: money. While most inmates are subjected to overcrowded cells, unsanitary conditions, and a lack of personal comfort, celebrities are often able to buy their way into a much cushier prison experience. One standout example is Martha Stewart, who in 2004 was convicted of insider trading. Instead of being sent to a high-security prison, she was placed at Alderson Federal Prison Camp, which earned the nickname Camp Cupcake. A fenceless facility that caters to non-violent offenders, Alderson is known for its relaxed environment. Inmates can roam the grounds freely, and there's a focus on rehabilitation rather than punishment. For someone like Stewart, this environment allowed her to maintain a semblance of her pre-prison lifestyle, spending her days crocheting, doing yoga, and even crafting ceramics. While she wasn't immune to prison chores, like scrubbing floors and raking leaves, her overall experience was far from the harsh conditions most would expect for someone convicted of a crime. But it's not just about where they end up, it's also about the extra perks celebrities can afford while serving their time. Wealthy inmates often have the means to hire prison consultants, specialists who guide them through the system, offering tips on how to navigate prison life, avoid conflicts, and even avoid drawing too much attention. These consultants often charge astronomical fees, sometimes upwards of 6 figures, but for a celebrity, it's an investment in their comfort and safety. Beyond legal help, celebrities often purchase personal items or upgrades that regular inmates can only dream of, from better food to private rooms and even access to gym facilities. These extra comforts can make a difficult time behind bars a lot more bearable. In some cases, celebrities may even have access to private chefs or special diets, ensuring that they eat far better than the average inmate. For those who are used to the finest things in life, the idea of subsisting on prison food can be an impossible adjustment, unless of course they have the money to upgrade their meals. In a place where the divide between the rich and poor is already stark, prison only amplifies the contrast. Wealth doesn't just ease the pain of incarceration, it completely changes the game. While most prisoners are counting the days until their release, celebrities with the right financial means are counting the perks that make their time behind bars feel almost like a vacation. Now, let's take a closer look at how these perks and privileges play out in real-life celebrity prison stories. Some celebrities have lived like kings behind bars, while others have faced a very different kind of challenge. These stories reveal the complex nature of being famous in prison, where fame can offer comfort, but also stir up its own set of unique problems. Take Paris Hilton, for example. In 2007, the hotel heiress was sentenced to 45 days in jail for violating her probation after a DUI arrest, but even her sentence wasn't like most others. Initially, Hilton was sent to a local jail in Los Angeles, but after just a few days, she was released under house arrest due to an undisclosed medical condition. The public outrage was immediate. Many saw this as an example of the justice system bending to accommodate a celebrity. However, to appease the public, Hilton was sent back to jail. But even then, her time behind bars was far from harsh. She was placed in solitary confinement in the jail's medical wing, away from the general population for her safety. This meant that she avoided the typical hardships of jail life, like overcrowding or constant inmate interactions. Yet, despite her relatively easy time in prison, Hilton later described the experience as traumatic, claiming it led her to become more self-aware and compassionate. Whether or not it was truly transformative, one thing is clear: her celebrity status turned what could have been a rough experience into something much more manageable. Then there's Lindsay Lohan, who in 2010 was sentenced to 90 days in jail for violating her probation. However, Lohan's time behind bars was cut short due to overcrowding, and she only served 14 days. But even during those 14 days, Lohan's experience was significantly different from that of a regular inmate. She was reportedly given special accommodations, like access to her prescription medications, better food, and even extra privileges to make her stay more comfortable. And in a bizarre twist, whenever Lohan left her cell, the entire jail went on lockdown to ensure her safety and prevent interactions with other inmates. This meant that while other prisoners were locked in their cells, Lohan could walk around freely without the usual prison restrictions. Another example is Lil Wayne, who served 8 months at Rikers Island in 2010 after a 2007 gun conviction. Rikers Island is one of the toughest prisons in the country, but even here, the rapper's experience was somewhat cushioned by his fame. He was placed in protective custody, which kept him separated from the general population for safety reasons. During his stay, he managed to keep himself busy by cooking, watching TV, and even winning a prison Uno tournament. In interviews after his release, Lil Wayne described his time at Rikers as not that difficult, a far cry from what most would consider a standard prison experience. Not all celebrity prison experiences are cushy though. Take O.J. Simpson for example. In 2008, Simpson was sentenced to 33 years for armed robbery and kidnapping and sent to Lovelock Correctional Center in Nevada. Unlike other celebrities, Simpson's conviction for a violent crime meant that he couldn't be placed in a minimum security facility. While he didn't have access to the luxurious perks some other stars enjoyed, Simpson managed to make the best of his situation. He spent his time playing checkers and cards with fellow inmates and even became somewhat of a prison celebrity, with other inmates seeking his advice. His time behind bars was relatively calm, but it's worth noting that his fame certainly helped him avoid some of the more chaotic aspects of prison life. Then there's Michael Cohen, former lawyer to Donald Trump. In 2018, Cohen was sentenced to 3 years for tax evasion and other financial crimes. Instead of serving time in a high-security prison, he was sent to FCI Otisville, one of the most comfortable minimum security prisons in the country. At Otisville, Cohen had access to recreational activities like bocce ball, tennis, and basketball. He even spent his time writing a book. For Cohen, his time in prison was almost like a retreat, providing him with a stark contrast to the typical prison experience most people imagine. These stories show the full spectrum of what it's like to be a celebrity in prison. While some stars enjoy luxuries that make their time behind bars almost comfortable, others face a tougher experience. Though even then, their fame still offers certain advantages that ordinary inmates just don't get. Celebrity status in prison doesn't always mean luxury, but it sure does change the rules of the game. So while prison might seem like a nightmare for most, for celebrities, it's often a whole different experience. From special treatment to cushy accommodations, fame can certainly change the rules. But at the end of the day, even the rich and famous can't escape the reality of losing their freedom. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video on surprising celebrity transformations. See you next time.